So let's adjourn at 10:03, or call to order at 10:03, not adjourn. Is there so as far as the agenda, is there a motion to approve it as is? For any comments?
Second.
Okay, Brian, Patricia. The minutes from April, motion to approve as is, as was recent. Okay. And I'll do you, Patricia, since that's easy to type.
I wasn't here, so I couldn't approve of the minutes.
Okay.
So the meeting.
Well, you could always read them, but
I read them, but
okay.
They looked good to me.
Yeah. Well, how about a second on the approval?
Second.
Okay, John. Yeah, right. Okay. Comments, again, the meeting is active and being recorded. And I express appreciation for the committee members' help at Bay Day. I think it was successful for the 4 or so people that were at the table. It was a good event. And we come to public comments. And I want to give that opportunity. Again, Jeff, do you have any comments related?
I can give you a couple updates I got from our secretary, John Latham, who he's the interface with the charging documents to the operations side of the business, and John Viola. Couple updates. John passed on that he did plant some cherry trees out here in White Horse Park recently. So if you go out through there, you'll see them, because I noticed them when I parked my car out there for Bay Day. Don't know if they're the same as the ones out front, but he just told me they were cherry trees. A charging document on egg addling, obviously, you see the little babies, they did not do that. They did discuss it, and they felt that it just wasn't needed this year. So they did have a discussion and took it into account, but they decided that it was not necessary for this year. He does have lawns that he's saved, for future turtle habitat. He treated the North Gate Pond for algae recently, I think on May 6th. And that really cleared things up quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, if you'll go out there and look, I mean, it's clear, and what do you call them? The agitators and spray. Mm-hmm. They were clogged up, obviously, but they're all in good working order at this point.
So what do you use?
That I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. If you want me to find out, I will, but I don't know.
Well, it would be at some point when we get a chance to be nice. I mean, obviously, we don't want to, poison the pond. Though apparently the fishing there is still good. So,
Let me nice to know if someone asks us.
Yeah, that's good. I'll send a note. I'll send a note. Ask him what he did. I probably should have did that.
Because there's lots of different ways to try and approach it, and I was just curious which one they decided on.
Okay, I'll find out. I'll take that back and send that email tonight. I did send the notes like you asked me to last time about mowing the lawn and pointing the discharge chutes away from any waterways that they happen to be cutting around.
Oh, okay, so you passed on that recommendation. Again,
I mean, I can only pass it on, and
yeah.
I'm sure he passes it on to Public Works, and it's just a matter of them remembering to do that and making it a priority not to do that.
Yeah. And the people here that live here.
Yep.
I see it all the time.
Yep. I hear you.
I even wave and yell, but I can't get too close to them because I'm afraid they're going to get really mad at me.
It's probably a good idea. That's my update.
Okay,
the only charging document, I have not got an update on it. I will follow up on it when I get home today. Is the fishing line tubes? I did not get any feedback from that yet. I don't know why, but I'll find out.
And, in that, I think there was a cost estimate to make the tube. So they do have some numbers they can evaluate. And then I also, just as a reminder, we had a document in for the geese signs too.
So I do have an update on that. John said he did repurpose the one sign that was on 589.
Yeah.
And did not have plans to replace that unless you guys
Well,
want to send something and say, hey, we want that, but he said he had no plans to replace it.
right. Well, the document we sent, because Anne actually wrote it up because of her experience. She was here when all that happened. It was explained that apparently that's where the geese got run over on Racetrack Road. So that's the actual problem spot. So, and we described that in the document that we submitted. So I guess he needs a reminder. And again, the state highway had no problems with the two signs being out there. All of that was reviewed and discussed.
What was the problem? I'm not aware of it.
Well, with all the geese crossing.
No. Did someone hit the sign?
No, John repurposed one that he bought.
Well, he actually did.
Two of them.
Well, because Parks and Recs wanted some signs at their trail crossings. So if you go over on Robin Hood Trail, you'll see our signs over there
I haven't.
with a new.
I saw their other new signs, but that must have been more recent because
Yeah, because when I biked there, I think last fall was when I was over there last. One bike, I saw our signs.
Oh, okay.
And I said, wow, you guys had bought a couple others. And went, no, they came from our geese signs.
That's
Obviously,
that
it's just
repurposing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Okay.
it's
I'll have to check
different
that out.
there.
It's over near me. That's funny.
We need to repurpose them back.
Yeah. So you could, again, check on that.
I don't know.
Well, we could, or maybe we can move one of ours to that the existing ones into that position.
Well, I mean, yeah, do we need all six around the pond right now? Maybe we could take, because there's two near the library. Maybe we can just take the one that's next to the library and move it out.
Yeah,
of our
that would be.
racetrack.
I think that could work. I don't know who's on signs this.
Patty.
Okay,
And where is it? Right by McDonald's? Is that where it was before?
Which is it? Patty.
it was on ours.
Let's do it this way.
No,
For McDonald's.
what about the bank?
No, she's the current manager of the signs right now.
Oh,
Checking. And talking about signs, she, everybody knows, she and her husband made those brackets.
Yeah, they look good.
And as making them more solid, so it's probably much less likely the wind to blow over a solid tray.
yeah. And the lawnmower guys hit them once in a while.
Yeah. Well,
And if it won't bend, it's going to break.
well, I guess again, we're still in the experimental stage, so we'll see how it's going to work. But maybe that's I guess when you somehow you get feedback, and if John kind of said, well, I got to do this and that, we'll say, well, okay, John, well, don't worry about it. We'll just simply move one of the, we don't need two on the racetrack. We can just get one over.
Gotcha.
I think one near the 7-Eleven is where the bad spot was.
That's all my comments.
Okay. So we'll, again, follow up with Patty on taking care of that. Okay.
I know I put the sign up that's across from the firehouse. I don't have it times.
Right. I passed it today, and it's kind of blocking an Ocean Pines sign right now. Somebody moved it again, so
Yeah.
I'll check with Patty because I think it's supposed to cover part of her assignment when she's away next month. So, I'll
Well, yeah, I go down that road a lot, and I don't have many times I have to pull my car over to the side and put the sign back up.
I didn't have time this morning, but yeah, it's definitely not in the right place.
Well, it's also going the opposite direction.
That's a little harder. Yeah.
I guess as far as John goes, I mean, if he has no plans to get any more
And
signs,
that's what he said. He has no plans to get.
then no, let's just make it easy. Then
Okay.
we'll just move one over. Okay. All right. Now into unfinished business. Again, we were at Bay Day. They noted that it wasn't a high volume crowd there for, I think, because of the competition of all the other events in the area that day. They still thought it was pretty good. I don't know. The activity at our table was pretty good. We did get some comments, and I want to quickly review that. And again, I think our display exhibit worked. And again, a lesson learned is don't worry about handouts. You might have a few because maybe 5 people or pick up something, but I'll use those again. What I have left over, I threw out some, and then when we do the teach a kid to fish, we'll just have a little stack there too, just in case somebody wants one. Okay. And again, during Bay Day, we had like little notes people could write down things. But
One of them was mine. Just I put it up there just to get it started. I forget.
yeah, what?
Nobody was putting any signs up. So
Yeah.
I made one and stuck it up.
Yeah.
And left a pin there to show that's what it's supposed to be for. So
What was it? Clean the canals?
yeah, I think that was one.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good one. And by the way, I showed that to the Marine Activities Committee.
Okay. Well, we'll say anonymous.
All right. So the other was make people pick up their Dunkin' cups in the playground, which I think that's probably an issue in general that either us or the rec committee could, try to mitigate. Bring back leaf pickup. It's hard to read the message, but
Yeah, I saw that one.
it's like, okay, good luck with that one. More turtle platforms. Okay. Well, he said he has logs, so eventually are they going to put them out?
I don't know if you notice them, they're all sitting down.
Yeah. Well, they've been cutting tons of old trees. So they got it. So whenever they get the equipment and whatever and get it over there. Get rid of resident geese.
Well, that's goes a little too far.
So yeah. But I mean, we're trying to address it with
Well, because they're not paying the assessment, or it's like.
Freeload.
Well, there was one lady who was talking about that, about the geese and everything. And she was kind of complaining about it, and that there's too many geese. I guess they like to take that trail around the pond. But I said, well, we're doing AGAD. We're going to want to try to do AGADling as one of the things to control that, as well as doing the high vegetation around the shoreline. Geese don't like that. So those things.
When's that going to start? Do we know?
Probably in the fall.
So I do have an update that if you want, if I can. They have a monthly meeting on that, and this past month was canceled because some of the participants had COVID.
Oh, jeez.
So
Still there.
it will be held in the month of June.
What does he mean with?
Coastal Day.
Yeah. I would think they would be at least the last people to get COVID. But they're in the planning stage right now. You know that they got a piece of EPA money to do the whole planning and design. So the consultant they got is going to be looking at, designing. It's not, they're not going to just throw in a bunch of vegetation. It's going to make sense, hopefully, of what they actually do. And I think in the fall is when things would actually start getting installed. Okay. Again, about the public feedback. So, Don, this is stuff you wrote down at the expo. And what I wrote down is the Boy Scouts trash cleanup. Did you mean like participate with them for trash cleanup?
Yeah, someone's looking for opportunities to have the Boy Scouts participate in activities so they can get merit packages or whatever.
All right, we're going to get to that. So, and the other thing I see is intrusive vegetation cleanup. I think that was kind of scribbled, or I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
And then anything with these,
They were interested in booster gardening.
okay,
But I think I turned them on to Joe Jankowski.
okay,
She was close by.
okay.
This was the expo, right?
Yeah. Did you want that paper?
I can take it.
Okay. All right. Again, there was two ideas, that were brainstormed during May Day. And Don, I guess, was involved with that. One was so the Surfrider Foundation does litter cleanup, mostly on the beach. That's separate from the Ocean City Beach Club that does that. It's, I think, weekly. I don't know how it would, or monthly, whenever they do that. But Surfrider is like separate. So they'll do the beach. And then I talked to the lady, and they'll do other areas too.
When you say the beach, you mean the little
Ocean
beach?
City.
Oh, the Ocean City Beach. I thought maybe the little beach on St. Martin's River.
Well, so if they go into other areas, including Ocean Pines, that could be one of the locations we go to. And we can maybe combine that with the Rec and Park trip. But we're going to get into that. So anyway, I left my name and contact to those guys. They had a sign-up list. And that may be the organized cleanup thing that we would be involved with instead of just random litter cleanup things. Maybe we can organize it through that.
I was just thinking maybe we could, partner with these groups for an Earth Day cleanup next year or something. I don't know what day April 22nd falls on next year. I can't internet, but that might be a way to rally the troops and get other people.
Right.
That's a great
interested.
I mean, Don, do you go out by yourself occasionally?
Yeah.
I mean, would you like it if
It was an organized cleanup once a year. Yeah.
At least once a year. I mean,
Yeah.
and there's like other guy that I interviewed that cleans up around the yacht club.
Right.
I clean Macklin Creek.
Thank you.
I take a bag with me when I kayak. If there's a floating junk.
So again, as opposed to like a shotgun approach doing litter cleanup, maybe we'll focus it down with this foundation. And that may, and if we want to do something, if it's Earth Day or that, Earth Day is a good idea, but that may overlap with a lot of other stuff. So I'm not, so depending on how everybody is able to coordinate for that. But in other words, if we picked another time exclusively between our members and the foundation, maybe we could say, hey, how about we go down to Beauchamp Road?
So Surfrider is a foundation. Is that
That's what their name
okay?
is.
All right. Yeah, end of summer would be a good time too.
Yeah.
And also, when the vegetation hasn't come out yet, so
Yeah.
April or Earth Day comes in the middle or end of April, March is a great month for picking up litter.
Right.
February, January,
There's a poison ivy. How long?
everything's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, and the bugs are not out yet.
Yeah.
And what?
It's cold, snowy, freezing.
Just
Some people go to Florida.
yeah.
That's true.
Okay.
I think a lot of people go to Florida, I think, around here. Really?
Yeah. The other idea was to sponsor a horseshoe cage at the Swim and Racket Club Park.
I have the same thought. When I went there yesterday to kind of review that trail, and of course the sign says there are still oyster cages, that there are not. And my thought would be that would be a way for people who don't live on waterfront property if they wanted to have an oyster cage there.
Yeah. Well,
Who put up the sign? Do you know?
Coastal Days, long time ago. It's very
It's been a while.
well, I talked to Joe again at May Day about it, and the cages that they had there were completely submerged,
Mhm.
and apparently they just got
They sunk into the mud.
that. Yeah, and they got all messed up and whatever, and they removed them. So again, when I'm going to talk about this, I was at the Marine Activities meeting yesterday, and they're working on that. And apparently, already 100 people have put in requests for cages, over 100,
That's excellent.
over the last several weeks. So Joe's kind of likely behind on making.
Is Joe with St. Martin's
Yes.
River? Okay.
Yeah,
Jankowski.
Jankowski. Yeah. I have his email if you want it, but I was going to email him saying, hey, we would like to sponsor a cage at that location,
Great.
which is next to the gazebo there.
4 cages. I mean, there's, yeah, one, you might as well have 2.
Well, I mean, if you want to, I mean, as far as getting other people to participate in that, I mean,
Let them do that. Yeah.
yeah. He's the guy that knows what he's doing. So, but we can have our own. And now you have apparently like once or twice a month you need to spray it down, right? And
Is it that often? Because I've had mine for a month and it doesn't even look.
Yeah, so it depends where you are,
Okay.
but I take mine out of the canal every 30 to 45 days. High velocity water, and I scrub the cage with a brush.
Okay.
So it's not maintenance free.
Gotcha.
There is a little work.
Gotcha.
And then what I was hoping we would use one of the dock hoses nearby. Hopefully, I guess when I get a chance, I'll get over there and take a look around to see if I can pull it over to where the cage is.
That would, man, it's
Where
kind
you
of
take
far.
the cages over there.
I mean, I guess, are they mobile enough that you can do that?
And oysters can stay out of the water for hours. So.
Okay, so that way you've got. Of course, that'll have to be during the summer because they probably turn the water off all season. Do you have to worry about that during the winter? So somehow we'll have to work those details out. During the winter, you just probably have to have a bucket of water and then kind of give it a,
Giant spray bottle, or the ones you spray yard stuff on.
So this will be. I mean, I'll contact them about requesting a cage, but we're going to have to figure out how to execute this.
It'd be another
Because we need
volunteer.
dedicated people. Okay.
Well, I don't live on the water, and I'd love to be able to have a oyster cage. So.
I mean, you could just contact Joe. You want one, right?
Yeah.
Do you have his?
But I'm not on the water.
Oh, are you? Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah, so those, not on water. I would like to, help it with it.
Well, maybe I can create another monthly sign up list.
Yeah. After we actually get it.
Yeah. And it might be a while because if he's got over 100 to build. That's it'll take a while. Okay.
What was 100?
Yeah, Joe. Already over 100 people had asked for oyster cages
Oh,
from Joe Jankowski. Okay.
Now, is it who would pay the fee every year? It's $5 to get the spat that you need yearly. Not that I would care about paying. I'm just curious. So the 100, is that part of the?
Well, we would have to go to the Vatican to get any kind of budget. So I would say we just somehow we chip in for that.
and the cage itself costs $45.
Yeah.
And speaking with Joe, it's like, yeah, I mean, PVC pipe. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's $45.
I don't think he takes a penny on it either.
I think we would, again, if we're willing, if everybody chips in, $5 to kick that off, I mean, that's what we should do.
No problem.
Okay. I'm not going to ask Patty because I know they've already spent a bunch of money on
Couple other projects.
the signs and other things. Okay. Okay, as far as signs, again, Patty is the team leader to work on the nature signs around the pond. So she had to go to Virginia Beach. So that's still in the works. Teach a kid today, at Bay Day, the fishing club was there, and I just talked to them briefly. They said, yeah, I think that we got to sign you up to be there. So that's on June 22nd. I think our cable will be a lot less complicated.
We really won't have access to power.
Correct. So there'll be no video, very few exhibits. Well, obviously we'll have the fish tube, and that little sign, and then maybe our some handouts, our stack of handouts, and then that's it. But we would. The point is to be there.
We'll definitely have the demonstration removal tube.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I think too is responsible fishing. I mean, what I've seen, people fish, they wind up leaving their shrimp cup,
It's always the bait
tackle
cup.
wrapping,
Yeah, always the bait cup sitting there.
and whether it's on salt water, whether it's on fresh water,
Well, maybe
that's irresponsible. Addressed, I guess. The fishing club doesn't do that.
Yeah, I can definitely help with that day.
all right. Super. All right. As that time comes closer, we'll make sure we're covered for that.
Yeah.
I think I have the two.
And I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Took that home. Okay, so you have the two. We'll work that out. Okay, Patricia is working on the drafting our next article.
It's June 15th is deadline, right?
Well, I got the 14th written down.
14th. Okay.
But whatever, obviously before that, a few days before that.
What is Green Street?
It's a column in the, what do they call it? The OP report, Ocean Pines Quarterly
Okay.
Report.
The column is called the Green
Yeah.
Street. Oh, yeah. I've read it. Okay.
It's usually a page.
Right.
But they, a lot of times they push the articles out, well, always on social media, actually, before you get the thing in the mail.
Okay.
So I asked if I could just get a digital copy because I've already read the articles. And they said, no, it has to be mailed to everybody. It saves some paper.
Okay. Again, the ST Coastal Trust was thought it was a good idea to have some kind of a workshop on the critical areas laws and trying to get to really see how they're, how you do follow them, how the county follows them, and how they're being implemented. Brenda and Coastal Bay are interested in partnering to do some kind of a workshop that's still in the works. It may happen. I mean, as far as time-wise, there may be something in the fall, but that's still in the planning stage.
Who would that be for? Just every residence? Or is it?
Well, we could have an open invitation. Obviously, nobody. I think primarily it's the people who are involved with that. It'd be nice to get some homeowners there. It'd be nice to get the either the arborist or some kind of permit person from Public Works to be there. Obviously, the county person that approves these building permits to be there. I think they could organize it to be where you can get a professional development hour out of it, or some kind of credit to entice them to be there to work on their professional credits for whatever certification they have. So in other words, to do something that's serious, not a long time, but just something that has meaning to it. And then we could invite others. Well, somehow we'll put, however that's going to work when we advertise that event to invite people to come over. And I'm sure, a few people probably will show up for that. I would be interested to be there to learn something more about that. Okay. All right, so I was at the Marine Activities Committee yesterday. They invited me to be there. They meet right here at 10 o'clock. And they talked, they are very interested in getting the water quality kits from ST Coastal Trust. But each would cost $60. So they are going to make a charging document because John was there, and they're going to explain the need to have these test kits to supplement the water testing program that ST Coastal Trust does. Now, they don't work in the canals, so that's where it would be most useful to add new test locations within the canals. And so the committee was very committed to that. They're going to have that charging document. They're going to explain the budget for at least starters. They're going to request 10. So they need apparently $600 to get 10. And it looked like 7 of those people would have one with their property. I think because a lot of them were waterfront property. And then they asked me, and I said, well, maybe we would have another 3 people that would want to maintain this water testing. So, I mean, right.
I would do it on my canal, yes.
Okay. I think,
You know what the process is? After the test, you just feed it.
well,
Computer somewhere.
they'll apparently it would include training.
Okay.
So once that gets organized, they'll
We'll talk about that.
the Coastal Trust will give some training on how to do it. So, I mean, I don't know.
I'm trying to get Taylor to get me involved in the acts that we're doing. He's still trying to work out the budget. So I'm not sure how far along it is. Oh yeah, I'll be more than happy to do that. My question is: this a one-time testing, or are we sampling at certain points during the course of the summer?
Well, apparently it's event driven. So yeah, it could be multiple events during the year. They want to look at rain events, probably dry spells, to get a set of data over time. And obviously you want to do it at different kinds of
Tides and stuff.
tides and atmospheric conditions, so you can see what the trend is, if there's and how things are affected by all those conditions. So yeah, it would be multiple times a year. Again, the whole idea. Some of those guys don't have boats, but the whole idea would be to have it at your dock or bulkhead or whatever. So if you do get your one dedicated to you, you would need, and you're not on the water, where could you put it? And then there was a little discussion, well, maybe they could put it on, have one at the bulkhead at the yacht club. Well, that's, possibly. But, so whatever, they're going to plan for 10. And then as we communicate with that committee, we'll find out how it's all going to work out. And then who of us would like to do that? Oh, now, and Don, in your case, you could do one that ST has already done, helping them with that. And that's what your role would be.
I'd be willing to be a team lead if that's what you're looking for, and work with the Marine Committee.
Okay, yeah.
If that's what you'd like.
Yeah, just to keep in communication with Dave, the chair.
Yeah, I mean, my past consulting experience is right up this alley.
Okay. Okay, well, you could,
Just give me his contact information. I'll get in touch with him.
yeah. I don't have it. You could,
Well, I can look it up.
yeah, he's the chair of it.
Dave is?
Yeah, I forgot his last name. Dave Miller. And so they're going to get a charging document. Obviously, that's going to take some time to get the budget approved and then actually purchase that from Coastal Trust.
Right.
But if you do contact it, say, potentially 3 of us would be interested in doing it. If it's successful, we can always expand it and get more people who are interested to do stuff. Okay. And there's, by the way, each kit has 10 different kinds of tests within it. You do not need a boat. You just simply need access to the water. You could do it on your kayak. I mean, that's something I was trying to visualize, but there was another question about the oyster cages. The Marine Committee does not, as a group, sponsor cages. They just do simply individual sign-ups to get a cage. But they're, trying to participate in that program. Okay. All right. Again, another item, unfinished business, planning, environmental communication methods. I think there's so much going on. This is an ongoing project. The idea was to have some kind of an information document within the HOA documents. But I think the first step would be to draft best practices that we're recommending. So that's going to take some time, because then when we put in our recommendation to do this, we're going to have to show them some draft documents that what we're actually visualizing. And then and what I have here, Karen gave me some feedback on how she worked with the Southgate Pond. Then we would do a presentation to the board, kind of outlining all of this to get the final okay and funding to do that. And then to work with Jeff on that. So there's several steps involved with that. And the first one, I think, is to start drafting the best practice documents.
It's a lot of what, the video ends with, things that you should do.
Yeah. But I mean, I think they should be formal looking documents. Maybe one page. It could be, I don't know. We just have to talk about how we're going to design it. Would it be just a few pages that reviews a series of things, or would it be a best practice for each particular practice that we're talking about, like lawn mowing or lawn care issues? Are there other subjects that we want to talk about? We could maybe review obviously the documents already include tree permitting issues. Do we need to embellish on that? I don't know. There's several issues that need to be worked out. Or it could be, again, just simple subject issues on things they could be aware of that we've brought out in the video and in other places. So this is a planning issue as far as drafting things. So I don't think we need to address it right now because we're thinking about a lot of other stuff. But again, this is an open item for our committee. Okay, that's all the unfinished business. New business. Now, Don, since you're here, you drafted two statements on mulch volcanoes and invasive species. When you mentioned the grass cutting, did you mention the mulch? Yeah. Now we could put that into a statement, so that's, we formalize that recommendation to remind these guys every year to build volcanoes. Right. So you drafted something.
Was that shared with the group? Got to send it to you.
I think it was emailed out a while ago, but what I'll do is resend those two recommendation documents or statement documents One thing I wanted to talk about is the format, to set up a more formal structure of our statements, including some of the things that you have. So the headers on these statements would include the issue, again, a very brief naming of what is the issue, a brief statement, all right, what is the risk associated with the issue, what is the status, again, if there was any kind of where are we on the issue, like when I did a statement on the ghost forest, I had a sentence in there, well, there was already some contact with DNR, whatever, some things have already happened. And then we're waiting for Ocean Pines approval. And then the recommendation would be, okay, again, in very few, 1 or 2 sentences, all right, what are we asking for from Ocean Pines?
Well, the statement isn't a whatchamacallit charging document. It's just a,
It's
could be because it could become one.
yeah, I think I have a statement of interest here. So depending on the purpose of what we're talking about, it's either a statement or now the charging document has its own format. We're not going
Right.
to change that.
Okay.
But if we ever put in like general recommendation issues, I think this format is what we would.
It's kind of like what I did about the trash
Yeah.
contract. Okay.
And a couple other things we did. And in the background, there's where you can lay out all the detail if anybody wants to, get into it. So that's, I think, the format. So what I'll do is send the 2 drafts. I'm going to put it into this format. And then to give everybody a chance to look at it. And then we'll, I'll give you guys a couple of weeks. And if there's any kind of feedback, then you can finalize it.
Mhm.
And then we'll send it back out to Jeff.
Just an aside on that, when you send us like sign up sheets and stuff, I can't always fill them in and send them back to you. You had that problem too, right? Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what format they're in, but you have to. I guess we have to make sure that we can edit them, because
All right. I think, right. I mean, sometimes it's, when you have to open it for editing or something, you have to do a step. I'll make sure whatever Word document I'll send, I'll make sure it doesn't have that on the protection on there.
right.
I mean, who knows the history of the Word documents that I have? So, okay.
And just to go over, the multiple volcanoes, that's really a notification about us creating multiple volcanoes and what really should be done in order to eliminate them. And actually, there is some work that's required in order to take the mulch away, and whatever root systems have grown in through the mulch, they should be also removed. But that's the mulch one. The invasive species at Bay Day, I did meet with Taylor Swanson, and we took a walk just down here through White Horse Park and looked at different vine species. And he said, yes, some of these things are native, which are growing up there, but they can still topple a tree and pull a tree down. So, it might be worthwhile. It would be worthwhile, possibly, to do a kind of a team event in order to remove those vines. And the ones really of concern right now, I would think, are the ones around Southgate Pond. And so anyway, they'd be willing to come on over and help us through that. They could do an educational event for us, maybe at the next meeting, to talk more specifically about the vines which are affecting the trees around the pond.
I'm sorry, Don. That was somebody from Coastal Trust?
Yeah, Taylor Swanson.
Okay.
He's the Aspen
Okay.
Coastal Trust guy.
Yeah.
He's the gatekeeper or
Yep.
the coast keeper.
So he would come. He would be happy to come to another meeting and talk about that.
Yeah. Specifically look at what we have going on and then, make a recommendation as to how best to do it. And maybe it's, kind of like an Earth Day event.
Yeah.
One of the things he did stress was that, we take vines down or invasive species, but specifically we're looking at vines. If you don't put something back, we might have the lines come back again. Because a lot of, the divine things are they're rooted, they're spread by roots, and if you don't get those roots up, they're going to come back. But at least right here, just be a step in the right direction, I would think.
Well, right, because that would be a big effort to dig up all the roots and everything.
Yeah. Maybe just lopping things.
And if we do that like an annual thing or whatever, every other year or whatever, that's something that we can maintain the beauty of the park.
Yeah.
Maybe again, that could be another sharing with the rec committee.
Yeah.
That we'll have that event. Say, hey, we'll come out and do that together. So when you, I'm going to send you the current draft back to you.
Mm.
Maybe you could explain in there about having this event to remove it.
Okay.
I think, we could still ask Assateague to, we might have to send that thing out after we get the Assateague again to get any more details. So we want to put it in.
Yeah, well, get that to me, and I'm not sure if I sent that to Taylor or not. I may have sent it to Taylor already. But I'll share that with him, and we'll see what we can do about having him come for the next meeting and or do another educational session, specifically with the vines that are affecting the trees around, the Southgate Pond and Camp Foxton down there.
Sort of a related question. So when a committee like marine activity, whoever does the fish, to fish day, do you have to put any requests to the board to hold such an event because it's on Ocean Pines property? And
well, probably.
Yeah.
So when in this particular document, where we say this is the event thing we want to do.
Okay, so it would be like another charging document.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because obviously we're going to be generating debris that we'll leave behind, and we'll assume that Public Works is going to pick it up. So we need their cooperation in that way. It's all part of it.
But something that's like less, impact, like just picking up trash, an organized day to do that. Do we have to, I guess we'd still have to kind of let them know we're doing it or something, or ask permission or ask forgiveness or. I'm just, what are the parameters that we?
I think for the litter pickup.
Just what Don and other people are doing now on their own is just is not a group, a sponsored activity. It's just something they're doing. So,
when we actually plan that, before that's. We're envisioning when we're going to do that.
We do it as an event, yeah.
I think I'm just thinking the easiest way to sort of get to notify people is I'll send a message on info at Ocean Pines saying, hey, we're planning this as event on at this location. Is this okay? Because I think going through some kind of a document
takes forever.
It just gets lost for whatever. It doesn't work, I don't think, for that situation. I think it'll be a lot easier to say, hey, we want to go out and do this. Is that okay? And then maybe that'll work. We'll see.
Okay.
If the feedback is you need to go through your liaison, so I'll have to then try to go back to Jeff.
I think that's the proper channel. The board doesn't approve things like that, but Rec and Parks does. So if you really want the association to help you with communication, like the community bike ride that was held 2 Saturdays ago, and we don't approve that, but Rec and Parks does, and they put out announcements about it because the organizer of the bike ride went through exactly how you just said.
Well, in other words, when I send that message, they probably forward it to Becky.
Absolutely.
And then she will actually
just go directly to
you or whatever.
Yeah. Skip the middleman.
Yeah.
Because if you're not asking for money or anything, why can't we just do it? Yeah.
And again, when we would do that, if we generate these bags of trash, we would have to ask, can we put that in one of the trash dumpsters? I assume Ocean Pines has dumpsters someplace that they maintain.
It would go over to the recycling or the yard, dump it into the recycling.
If it's recycled, yeah. If it's trash,
Well, it's all branches.
yeah. For the vines, sure. But if it's trash, would be another story. Yeah, if we do a trash day.
Right. Exactly. And I know they don't have trash bins over there on purpose.
There is the recycling station at the firehouse.
Yeah. But assuming that's all we got is bottles and things, great. But there's going to be other junk.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of
Paper cups and other
non-recyclable wrappers and all that kind of stuff. So,
Well, that brings up an interesting thing that, when we pick up trash, you pick up aluminum, you pick up plastic, paper, whatever, sort that stuff out and recycle it. However, after Saturday's event, there was I'm not sure where the recycling center was here. So
yeah, they took away the
I took all those airplane bottles home and dumped in my own recyclable container, which is fine. But for events like that, you look in the trash can and
there's all kinds of
bottles.
mixed. Yep.
Yeah, it was all mixed waste, and that's just going to down to Newark probably and get landfilled.
yeah, well, you know about the big bins they have by the firehouse.
Yes, I do.
And there's also some in the parking lot near the Walmart, I think.
Yeah, from those as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, when we contact Rec and Parks, I mean, we'll have to
Work out details.
work out those details of where we're going to take this stuff. And if it is indeed mixed trash, we're going to say we request to put it in an Ocean Pines disposal. And I'm sure they got a dumpster someplace.
Or you could ask every volunteer if they have the trash service to take a bag home with them and put it out on trash day.
Yeah. But, my other concern is, does Ocean Pines Association, like in this building, have recycling for bottles and cans?
My first answer is no. So, because I don't think so. I've never.
There's no, the swim and racket club pool, there's no recycling. Yes. Take your trash with you if you want to recycle it.
And so my question is, maybe that's something we investigate and figure out why. Maybe there's a good reason
Another
why.
charging document. Please put a recycling bin everywhere.
Another statement of intent.
All right. So that's a future issue for Ocean Pines to have recycled containers. I think the only one I do see is for eyeglasses over by the bathroom. I think that is a real. Well, there is a recycling, I think, for eyeglasses, but I think there is a real paper recycling bin over there by where the paper stand is, right over here.
At Whitehorse in the park?
Yeah, right over.
Okay.
Yeah, right next to the paper stand. There's something there because, but when I see that, it's always full. So I don't know if it gets empty. But that's it. There's nothing else. As far as but that's something that we can try to work on and develop. Okay, I mentioned the template for the action statement. Lastly, the Adopt the Park program. I sent you. I contacted the Rec and Park Committee because we noticed that our name was in the activity guide for adopting the Swim and Racket Club trail, and so they have a little thing here on how to do that. And this could probably get some ideas in putting this into our.
Did you send that to us recently?
Yeah,
Okay.
I sent it with the draft agenda a couple of weeks ago. I think you said you got my agenda.
Yeah, I did. I just won't recognize the picture.
It has a application to adopt something. I would probably refresh this with that committee. And since it's probably been years.
Not that I noticed.
Well, I'll send it again.
Yeah, because I don't recognize it either.
I got it. Yeah, I probably. This is the attachment. I'll find it.
So
Where does the trail go from over there?
Okay, I actually was over there yesterday because I was like, trail? What trail? So there's no signage, indicating that there's a trail, but I think it does appear on the big map of Ocean Pines.
the trail map.
Basically, if you start at the beach and follow the docks along, and after that picnic shelter, there is a little trail with a pea gravel, and it kind of winds around the edges of the property, kind of ends where the mailboxes are, but then kind of picks up on the other side of the drive. There's like a blacktop, and that curves into the parking area. But there's no sign that says it's a trail. And it's kind of,
It goes around the tennis courts.
yes,
Around tennis
behind the
courts,
tennis
so like
courts.
over
Yeah.
to the gazebo at the dock.
So it's not much of a trail.
Well, it's not. It's like a quarter mile or half a mile, but it's actually kind of nice. I think.
Yeah, it's a nice little walk. A lot of people walk their dogs along there. And I noticed there are a few like nice specimen trees. If you wanted to we talked about identifying trees at the Route 90 pond. There's so many. It'd be like, well,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Well,
One thing would be to say, here's, begin. Most of our trails had like a mileage marker or something on them. Begin here, or
well, that I don't know. That might be something for the rec committee to think about and work on. They're responsible for the trails themselves. So if they want to add enhancements to it, I'm sure.
So we would just do whatever it says. You need to do in that list.
Yeah, and I think it's just basically.
Does someone has someone adopted the Route 90 pond trail? Because if we're going to be working on that, that would make more sense to adopt that one.
Well, that's an idea.
It's more environmentally.
Well, that's where we were going to put some effort into. So.
Well, let's have a vote. We're missing 3 people, but who wants to do the swim and racket trail as our target? It'll be easier.
It's a smaller trail, that's for sure.
All right, who wants to do the Route 90 trail? That's 4. I don't think that's a majority.
You could just maybe do an email poll for the people who aren't here.
Okay. All right, I'll do another.
Were we assigned the parking or the swim and racquet club?
This is probably a program that started a few years ago, and then the environmental committee years ago, when this was being developed, probably signed up at that time.
Yeah.
I had no idea when.
Is someone already, or is there someone else, another committee that's doing the
Route 90
Route 90 pond?
or whatever, whatever
Or that's
the name they give it in that, because it's got a lot of names.
You might be right.
And what's our responsibility? We rake gravel, or we just pick up trash? And
That's why I have to read that document.
Pick up trash, bring cleanup, maintain mulch and wood chips, improve landscaping by planting shrubs and flowers, weeding and mulching beds and trees, pile fallen branches and rake leaves. How about if we do the Route 90 pond? I mean, these are suggestions. It's not something.
Yeah.
I think primarily it's focused shall commit for a minimum of 2 years, at least twice a year, or up to 4 times. Notify rec department of when we're going to do it. This is kind of like these instructions would be useful for the litter pickup. Provide all tools. So we have to bring any tools that we need. Apparently trash bags may be provided. So essentially we're talking about if we do a trash pickup event, we would do it at our adopted trail, I think is the answer here. And this gives the instructions on what to do. So we don't have to contact info at Ocean Pines. It will just follow this process for the location where we want to do. Now that's a trail, so that's not other locations. Return any unused trash bags back to the community center. So we would get the bags, which is nice. But that's the gist of it. We could do other things, like remove invasive species.
Also, the Route 90 trail 2 years ago,
Mhm.
there was a bunch of dead,
Trees falling,
carcasses of
animals.
animals and deer and stuff. I was wondering, is that where they throw them when somebody hits a deer or something?
I hope not.
It's just a coincidence. Okay, I'm looking at it. Oh my god,
Maybe
dead animals doing here?
maybe the animals had COVID and just
Where was that?
on Route 90.
Yeah, close to
Route 90.
no, close to the 589.
Oh, okay. Okay, like near the
Doing
library.
suicides.
Well,
Yeah.
sometimes when deers get injured and then they crawl into the woods and die. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't walked it in a month or so, but I haven't noticed that.
Good.
There used to be the kids that would you saw that area that was carved out into a bowl for dirt bikes.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen people there lately either.
Good.
But-
Okay.
But it
They left a lot of trash there last time I was there.
crash.
Okay, so that's so really we're talking about two things. What trail we can adopt just for trash cleanup? Maybe we can add in the invasive species as part of a improving the landscaping. And then we also have if we do work with the surf riders for a specific trash cleanup events once a year, maybe Earth Day or whatever. That is really separate from that. But I think the communication of it would be pretty much like this. So this, as simply contacting Rec and Park Department. Okay. All right. So we'll put that together.
Now, you sent this to everybody?
Yeah. But I'll send it again. I'm going to send it again, John. And then, and I'll ask Patty to forward to you, assuming her email works better.
Yeah, because I've been getting your emails.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll send it again. I'm going to send two emails. I'm going to send the group email, and then I'm going to send a message to you saying, John, I just sent out the attachments, and then you let me know if you got it.
Yeah, as I said, I've been getting your email.
Yeah.
That's why I'm surprised about that.
So I'll verify that. Okay. All right. Open discussion. Any other subjects? All right.
Just a little observation. I mean, at the yacht club, they've done some work, electrical work, by the bathhouse or the shower house, which is adjacent to the swimming pool. There's erosion occurring at the electrical panel they put in. So maybe that's something I should go to info at oceanpines.com. Yeah.
It just do that.
Yeah.
Just send a message. Hey, there's a erosion problem at the construction. I mean, that's it's practical.
Yeah, the boardwalk, and here's the panel, and so water's coming off from somewheres, I guess, and then draining down. I guess it was never consolidated. They never consolidated when they did their excavation and backfilled it. So.
Well, I mean, long term, that's a problem because the Marine Committee's been talking about shallowing in the boat channels. So that's probably going into the marina there.
Yeah.
And could be potentially could create a shallow that the boats get stuck on. So that's not a joke. Okay. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn? It is 11:07.
Make a motion.
and approve
Approve.
and
Second.
okay, and if no objections, we will adjourn the meeting at 11:07.